Mom Hacks, episode number 41. My name is Krista, and I'm your host. It's November 15th, 2023. In today's episode, I'm going to get really personal with you. Since I started rolling out weekly episodes, I've been sharing bits and pieces about my life with you and different ages and stages with my daughter. My first few episodes covered her birth story and the miracle of bringing new life into the world. We've talked about breastfeeding and some of the obstacles I encountered on that journey. My goal here is always to be genuine and authentic, to cover the real life in the trenches scenarios we moms face every day. There is a set of circumstances, however, that I've been reluctant to talk about for various reasons. But it is part of my story and part of the backstory of my family. I believe we're put on this earth to help each other. So if being open and vulnerable with my story helps even just one of you, or maybe it resonates with you because of someone you know, then that is worth it to me. Now, I will preface this by saying our family is in a very happy new life chapter, and it's probably easier for me to talk about some of this because of that. Time has healed some of the wounds, and I have been through a lot of therapy. The scars are always there, though. So in today's episode, I'm going to talk about navigating divorce with a 6-month-old, why divorce was the only option, and lastly, I will share some practical tips and strategies to help you and your little one, or perhaps someone you know and their little one, thrive during this difficult transition. But before we get into all that, I just want to say thanks for tuning in, Mama. I started this podcast because babies don't come with instructions. As of this recording, I am chasing around a 5-year-old that no amount of Googling, mom groups, or books were able to prepare me for. There's a lot of stuff people don't talk about when it comes to pre-pregnancy, during pregnancy, and postpartum. And as someone who was previously terrified of all of the above, I'm here to help you pull back the curtain on all of it. And every now and then, it may get a little messy. We may share a little TMI, but that's why you're here, right? My goal is you'll leave every episode feeling refreshed, inspired, and hopeful, knowing you are not on this mom journey alone. Now, there's a lot of subject matter to cover when it comes to mom life, and we are covering it all. Now, let's rip the Band-Aid off and talk about navigating divorce while raising an infant. I think it's important to go back to the beginning. I got married to my daughter's father in 2010. Now, she was born in 2018, so we were married 8 years by the time she was born. And y'all, I was so naive and blindly in love. I had absolutely no clue. I was completely in the dark about the disturbing and ultimately illegal things my now ex-husband was up to. I don't want to drone on getting into the minutia of every unsettling detail I experienced. The long and short of it is we all have gut instincts for a reason. Things we uncover or something said in passing that just doesn't sit right. So often we ignore those feelings or think, there's no way that's true. He was just having a bad day, or I must have misinterpreted that. And we just move forward in our busy lives. But when third-party validation comes into play, casual acquaintances reaching out, and complete strangers making contact, alerting you of years-long affairs, these are red flags hitting you over the head that can't be ignored. So all of those things happened. Casual acquaintances touching base with me, letting me know about certain things they saw, total random strangers making contact about years-long affairs, and so on. Coincidentally, this is also when I find out I'm pregnant. So while clutching my growing belly and pleading for the truth, he spews more lies that I suppose appeased me at the time. I think I was in family preservation mode, trying to protect myself and my baby but there was still something deep down telling me that something was off and that I just didn't have the full picture of what he was hiding. So fast forward to June and July of 2018. Now, if you go back to episodes 1 and 2 of this podcast, you can hear all about my daughter's birth story and some of the obstacles we encountered leading up to that. But beyond her birth and the breastfeeding issues, there were some majorly disturbing things brewing below the surface that would reach a breaking point in January of 2019. So at this point, January of 2019, my daughter is 6 months old. I walk into my office like any other day. A call from an unknown number comes through my cell phone. So, as I often do, I just let it go to voicemail. And here is where my life, as I knew it at the time, was shattered into a billion tiny pieces. The caller was a detective asking me to call back at my earliest convenience. I immediately returned her call, and she proceeds to inform me that my husband was under criminal investigation. Once again, I won't deep dive into his charges here. However, this was like God pounding me over the head to run. I left work, picked up my daughter from daycare, packed a bag for the two of us, and vowed we would never share a roof with that man ever again. I'm very blessed that my parents live nearby, and we were lucky to be able to move right in with them. Now, somehow, even with this concrete evidence of lying, manipulation, and illegal activity, I still wasn't in the headspace to file for divorce. At my request, he agreed to couples counseling, which primarily consisted of me bawling my eyes out while he sat there emotionless like a brick wall. So in my fringe hours, which were virtually non-existent, by the way, because I was solo parenting an infant, but in my spare time, I had become a private eye. Truly, I became Nancy Drew, private detective, getting lost in our bank statements, phone records, credit card bills, etc. I scanned every detail and transaction looking for answers. And boy, did I find them. They were right under my nose. But in the busyness of life, over the years leading up to that, I overlooked and outright missed curious transactions and long phone calls to and from mysterious numbers on his call history. More and more puzzle pieces were starting to fall into place. And so, after confronting him with various pieces of this evidence, yet continuing to be met with more gaslighting and manipulation, I knew the marriage had met its end and immediately retained an attorney. The divorce was as quick and painless as one could be, I suppose. His criminal case was still pending at the time our divorce was finalized, so that led to some nuances, but we've managed to deal with them. Looking back on everything, it is definitely the most painful experience I've been through so far. To watch your relationship with the person who is supposed to be your life partner and protector and so many other things that you could fill in the blank with there evolve into something so foreign and unfathomable is terribly agonizing. I pray you never have to experience that. There is, however, beauty in this story. I am a Christian. I'm a believer. I believe God turns mourning into dancing and shame into glory. So know that there is more to this story. As I said at the very top of this episode, I'm in a happy new life chapter. I did find love again, and I plan to cover dating as a single mom in a future episode. But next, I want to share some tips and strategies that helped me be a present mom while also navigating the divorce process. The first tip I want to share is to prioritize self-care. Now, again, self-care is a topic we cover a lot here on Secret Mom Hacks. It really is so important for parenting, and especially going through a tumultuous period like divorce. it is crucial to prioritize self-care. Taking care of yourself allows you to show up as the best version of yourself for your little one. Find moments throughout the day to practice self-care, whether it's taking a warm bath, going for a walk, maybe out in nature or just through your neighborhood, journaling your thoughts and feelings and emotions, or maybe just indulging in a good book, whether that is a hard copy, tangible, actual book, or maybe it's an audiobook that you're listening through your tablet or your mobile device. You have to remember that self-care isn't selfish, it's essential for your well-being. And I will share with you during this time, really, two of my main modes of self-care as I was going through my divorce were baths. I love taking warm baths. So several nights a week after I would put my daughter to bed, that was one of my favorite things to do would be to run a warm bath. I also started making bath bombs at this time. I am not an overly crafty person, but I really got into bath bombs and they start adding up. They can get pretty expensive as you start buying them as much as I was. And so I thought, I bet I could make these for a fraction of the cost. So I did. I got all the ingredients. And that was another fun way for me to just unplug from the world and the stress and just focus on one thing, making the best, most delicious smelling, prettiest bath bombs that I could make. And I started using those for my warm baths. And that was a whole lot of fun. So in addition to those warm baths and the bath bombs, I also started just being more active. I was not yet a runner at this point. That running journey started a little bit past my divorce. That's another episode for another day when we are covering anxiety. But yes, different topic, different day, coming soon. But yes, at that time, I was at least amping up my physical activity, again, to just get the blood pumping and to clear my head. I think at this point, we've all learned the benefits of walking and movement and just how beneficial it is to have a step goal every day, for example. Anyway, for me, those warm baths and staying active through walking, those were my two favorite ways to prioritize self-care, amongst other things. So you've got to find what works best for you. Now, let's take a quick break. Hey, Secret Mom hackers. Are you a budget-savvy family looking for a financial tool that can help you take control of your spending and savings? Well, I've got something fantastic to share with you. Cube Money. Cube Money is the ultimate budgeting solution that's tailor-made for families who want to manage their money with ease and precision. Here's why our family loves it. It's just like the envelope system we all know, but digitized. Imagine the simplicity of old school envelope budgeting, but with a modern twist. Cube Money digitizes the envelope system, allowing you to allocate funds to specific spending categories right from your smartphone. It's like having a set of virtual envelopes for groceries, entertainment, and more, all in one app. The whole family benefits. Cube Money isn't just for individuals. It's designed to accommodate the needs of your entire family. You can set up sub-accounts for your spouse and kids, helping everyone stay on the same financial page. It's a powerful tool for teaching financial responsibility to your children. Stress-free savings. Planning for the future is a breeze with Cube Money. You can easily allocate funds for savings goals, whether it's a family vacation, a new home, or an emergency fund. It's all about turning your financial dreams into reality. So if you're ready to simplify your family's budgeting, track your spending with precision, and achieve your financial goals, give Cube Money a try. Visit their website at Cube Money to learn more. That's QUBE money.com to learn more and use the discount code SECRETMOMHACKS, all one word, SECRETMOMHACKS, to get 2 months of their premium or family plans for free. Cube Money, on a mission to see you live more and worry less. Try Cube Money today. Now back to the show. The next tip I have for you is to seek emotional support. Going through a divorce can stir up a range of emotions from empowerment and resilience to shame and failure. And none of those emotions are bad, they are real. And I went through all of those emotions and everything in between. It's important to find that support system that can provide the emotional support you need. Reach out to trusted friends or family members who can lend a listening ear or offer guidance. Now, bear in mind, I wouldn't suggest going and finding a whole village of friends and family. When I was going through my divorce, I handpicked about 3 or 4 friends that I knew that I could call upon, and a couple of those friends knew each other, but most of these people were actually out of the area. But I think personally, when we're going through something that is as serious as this, when we're going through something like a divorce, it's really important to keep that circle small, because there are going to be times when your emotions are just really raw and you don't want to have to rehash everything that you're going through with 8 or 12 different people. So if you can keep that support group of friends and family small, like I was saying, maybe 3 to 5 people. I kind of think 5 people max. But those people really can give you that support you need, give you that listening ear, share their perspectives. Something else you could do would be to maybe consider joining a support group or seek therapy to help you process your emotions and to develop some healthy coping mechanisms. I cannot advocate for therapy enough. When I was going through my divorce, as I mentioned earlier in the episode, I was pretty adamant about doing couples counseling, and that doesn't really work. It's not effective when both parties aren't present and engaged. And so that's why ours didn't work. And again, ultimately that marriage did fail, was because it was not a two-way street. It was very much a one-way street. After I'd filed for divorce, I immediately started seeking therapy just for myself. For several months, I was seeing a therapist. There was a while I was doing it weekly, but then I got to every other week and then monthly, because nobody wants to go through this journey alone. And while the support of those few friends and my parents were vital and critical to my well-being, and those relationships were so incredibly valuable and still are to this day, having that neutral third party, such as the therapist, who has zero vested interest, who doesn't know you, who doesn't know your spouse or ex-spouse or soon-to-be ex-spouse or whatever, that is also extremely valuable. So you don't have to go through this journey alone. Professional help is key, both from a therapy perspective as well as a legal perspective. Reach out to a divorce attorney who specializes in family law to ensure you are well informed and have the necessary support throughout that process. Truly cannot emphasize that enough. And again, we're all different, because of what I had gone through and because I was manipulated and lied to for nearly a decade. I mean, my ex-husband's affairs and lies started, we were married for almost 9 years by the end of it. All of the lying and manipulation and the affairs started within a year into that marriage. So because I was so distrusting and wary of all men at that point, besides my dad, my dad has always been my knight in shining armor and still is to this day. But when I was going through this, from when it came to attorneys and therapists and financial advisors, I did not want to work with any men. So I hired the best female attorney I could find, who was phenomenal, who I still work with to this day. So It's really important to find those key players that you trust and that you value their expertise and their experience, that you can rely on and count on to support you through this difficult process. Okay, so in line with that, creating that support network, surrounding yourself with a strong support network is hugely important. So whether it's reaching out to other parents who've gone through a similar experience or joining parenting groups where you can connect with others who understand the unique challenges you're facing, building that support network not only provides emotional support, but it also opens up opportunities for shared experiences, advice, and practical assistance when needed. The next tip I want to share is to take care of legal and financial matters. So when you're going through a divorce, it's important to address both the legal and the financial aspects of the process. Consult with professionals who specialize in family law and financial planning to make sure your rights and interests are protected. Make sure you're taking the necessary steps to establish a fair custody arrangement, determine child support, and divide assets. Having that clear understanding of your legal and financial situation will provide stability and security for both you and your baby. So, as I was saying just a moment ago, for example, when it came to insurance and financial planning, my ex-husband and I had primarily worked with men. And so, because I was so distrustful of men in general at this point in my life, I made sure when it came to my financial planning, I was working with a woman that I could trust. And so I'm really grateful that the company that I had been working with at the time and continue to work with to this day, they guided me towards an amazing, super smart woman who is just her savvy when it comes to finances and math in general. That has never been my strong suit. She's incredible. And she helped to set me on the right foot to get me out of debt and to show me what my future could look like following a consistent saving strategy. And that's hugely important when you're going through such an uncertain situation, such as a divorce. You want those types of key players in your corner looking out for your best interest to set you and your kiddo up for a successful future. And then the last tip I want to share is to focus on co-parenting with positivity. Now, this one can be tough. It is completely natural to have conflicts and disagreements during a divorce, but it's crucial to approach co-parenting with a positive mindset. Keep the well-being of your child at the forefront and strive for open, respectful communication with your co-parent. Avoid involving your child in any disputes or using them as messengers between you and your ex-spouse. And just remember that creating a peaceful co-parenting environment sets the foundation for a healthier future for your child. As we come to the end of this episode, I want to remind you that you are stronger than you realize. Navigating divorce and raising a child may seem overwhelming, completely overwhelming, but by focusing on all of the above, you are setting up both you and your kiddo for the best outcome possible. Any transition can be challenging, and as heartbreaking and painful as this was for me, I would endure it all over again in a heartbeat to have the love and support I found in my second marriage. What my daughter and I went through gave me an opportunity for both growth and transformation. And you have the power to create a new chapter filled with love, joy, and resilience. And if this message isn't for you, then perhaps this message is for another mom you know who might be going through a similar situation. You and your family deserve a life of happiness and fulfillment. With that said, let's face it, I'm going to go back to my message of self-care. We know it's hard to take care of those you love if you're not taking care of yourself. So this is just that gentle reminder to stay hydrated, Make time for that quick walk around your office, house, whatever, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you can get in 30 minutes, great. Don't forget to wash your face and slather on a great overnight moisturizer before you go to bed. And make sure you wear that sunscreen in the morning. Your skin is going to thank you. I appreciate you spending time with me on today's episode of Secret Mom Hacks, and I hope you found today's topic helpful. If that's the case, please subscribe for free if you haven't already. Give me a 5-star rating and leave a review sharing your favorite takeaway so far. Make sure you stop by secretmomhacks.com where you can find transcripts, resources, and more. Stay tuned for next week's episode, and until then, you've got this, mama.